Welcome back to Play the Hand Part 2. So, just to catch you up, both sides have made initial meld, and now we're in the sort of middle of the game where we're trying to get the most points possible. And you get points by having cards on the exposed in your meld, and you get points by making canastas. And it's my turn. A 6 was just thrown out. I do not have a pair of 6s, so I cannot pick up the pile. So I'm going to pick up to start my turn. And remember, I have that 3 7s. That's a 1,500 point penalty if the hand ends with 3 7s in it. So I'm going to throw out that extra 7. I always like to control a pair of 7s, so that then my opponents cannot get a 7s canasta, which remember, if you get it, it's 2,500 point bonus. If you start it and you don't finish it, it's a 2,500 point hit. And we're going to do a separate video that talks about the special canastas. All right, I picked up an ace. Let's see. Is there anything I want to add? I think I'm not going to worry about it yet. I do have this pair of 8s that I could add to my partnership 8s. You see that? But I'm going to hold on to them for one more round, hoping that my opponent throws out an 8 and I get to get the pile. Because getting the pile is how you win. Now, I still have a good blocking card. I have a 10. Because they cannot pick it up. Remember, there are 6 cards, and every time you take the pile, you must meld 3. And you are not allowed to have 2 of the same rank on the same side. So in 4-person partnership canasta, I can't have 10s started and then take the pile and start another 10s. You're only allowed to have 1 of each. And my opponents are allowed to start 10s or queens like they did, as long as queens haven't been closed or 10s haven't been closed. They haven't been made into a canasta. Once a rank is made into a canasta, it is a dead card. Okay, so no pair of 10s. Even if I had it, I couldn't take it, so I'm going to draw to start my turn. Oh, I have 3 9s. That's nice. I'll hold on to that. 8s. I think I'm going to throw out the 8. I'm going to throw out the 8 because this person melded initially with 8s. So there's a good chance that they don't have a pair of 8s. And I was right. They do not have a pair of 8s. So they're going to start their turn. Now they have a pair of 9s. That's nice. And let's see. Jacks, 10s. Oh, you know what they're going to throw out? The 10. Again, it's an excellent blocking card. It does not let me pick up the pile because, again, even if I had a pair of 10s, I wouldn't be able to get it. And if they'd been counting, they'd know there aren't a pair left even. All right, so I take that. It's a king. Let's see. We haven't seen any kings come out. I think I'm going to throw out the king, though. All right, king. Well, they have 1 king, but they don't have a pair of kings. So they have to pick to start. And they got a 9. They might decide to throw a king. It's either the king or the 9. Maybe a 4. Because if I throw a 4, I still have a pair. So if the person to my right discards a 4, I would still, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw a 4. Okay. Next person does not have a pair of 4s, so they can't get the pile. So we're going to pick up a card. Oh, we got a joker. Yippee! Now, I can't use the joker to finish the 10s. I can't use the joker to finish the 10s because we already have 2 wilds, and you're only allowed 2 wilds in a canasta. So now I have to think about what I'm going to throw away. I want to control a pair of sevens. King, Jack. Well, I could throw out a 9 and I would still have a pair. So I think I'm going to do that. It's still fairly early in the hand. Oh no! I gave this person the 9s because look, they have a pair of 9s and a 9 is on top. So they're going to get, my opponents are going to get that very sweet pile. They put down the 2 9s out of their hand. See? It's hard to see. Move this over some. They take the top 9 and place it here because you always have to meld 3. No more. You have to meld 3. 2 out of your hand and 1 that goes down. And the rest of the pile goes into the person's hand. Let's see what they have. Let's see what they got. Organize their hand. It's a small pile, so we'll take the time to do it. Okay. So they have 3 10s, they have 8s, they have 3 kings, a pair of aces, 4 2, pair of 7s. Okay. So, empty tray rules. First of all, they have to decide if they are going to do any melding. So this is their side here. Well, they have an 8. They have 8s. They could put down an 8. It's starting to get a little low. They might want to start to finish some canastas. So they might put out the 8. Might put out the 6. Why don't we do that? You want to be careful about depleting your hand, though, because you want to give yourself the opportunity to get canastas. I'm not going to throw out these kings. I'm not going to throw out the 10s because I can meld those 10s as long as they don't close the 10s canasta. And right now I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only one more 10 floating around somewhere. So I'm going to put these 3 10s out. And then we'll get the points. Ha 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 ha. Because if they close that 10s canasta before I put the 3 10s out, I never get those points. And now it's time to discard. Empty tray rules. No aces, no 7s, no wild, no cards from a closed canasta. We don't have any closed canastas yet, so that's not a big deal. Maybe I'll throw out a 4. It's only worth 5 points. So there are all kinds of strategies for what different people would throw, etc. Oh, look at that. Huh. Am I going to do that? I think I'm not going to do that. Well, what I'm just debating is a 4 was thrown out and I have 4 4s, but I really want to try to get that last 10, right? Because there are 6 10s out there. That means that there's still some 10s and I'd like to be able to close it. Well, I got a 5. That kind of stinks, but there you have it. I guess I'll discard a 9. My opponent's turn. Oh, they do have 1 9 in their hand, but they don't have 2, so they can't get the pile. Draw a card. 3 5s were just put down, so they're going to guess 5 is a safe card. 5 is a safe card. This person can't pick up the pile. Oh, they got a 3. It goes down. You replace it. A 6. Yeah, I'll throw out a 6. We're not going to get too much into strategy. It doesn't have a pair of 6s. Pick up a card. 4 kings. I don't like to start a rank unless I have 5 of them, because if I start the rank with 3, right, then I don't have a pair. So I'm going to throw out a 4. And nobody has a canasta yet. Ooh, I have 4s. So I take 2 out of my hand. I take the top 4 and finish my obligation. Every time you take the pile, you have to take 2 out of your hand and at least 1 out of the top. And I'm going to put, so if you look at my hand, I could now go to 6. But if I go to 5, remember, I give my opponent a safe discard. So I'm going to put 1 more out, but I'm not going to take it to 5. And now I have to decide what I'm going to discard, and I'm going to discard a 5. It's this person's turn. They do not have a pair of 5s. They got a pair of kings now. What will they discard? Well, first let's see if there's any melding they want to do. Their partnership has 9s. Maybe I'd put a 9 down. Their opponents are starting to get close to a canasta. They want to get a canasta if they can. Let's see. I can't add. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 2 8s. 5, 6. So I'm going to hope my partner has that 7th 8th. 7th 8. And I'm going to discard a 4. Okay. Does not have a pair of 4s. Can't take the pile. 6. Discard that 6. Does not have a pair of 6s. Can't take the pile. Picks a card. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Might as well take that to 5. And we'll throw out the jack. No pair of jacks. Can't take the pile. Pick a card. King. Well, that's interesting. Ooh, I can take my 5s up to 6. I have 6 5s. At a certain point, you start wanting to get canastas because that's where you get the real bonuses. And, oh, look, their 6s are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to use my 6s strategically. We don't have 6s started, and they can't pick up the pile. So I'm going to discard the 6 and block the pile, because remember, every time you take the top of the pile, you have to meld 3 cards. And they've already got in their 6s 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus 3 is 8, so they can't get the pile even if they have the pair. Now, if they have a pair, they're able to finish their canasta, but at least they won't get the pile. Okay. They do not have 6s. Pick the top card. Oh, 3 jacks. All right, what are they going to discard? Let's discard a jack. So I've sort of skipped ahead. I've been taking turns, and you can see that there's a lot of meld on my partnership side. We have 1, 2, 3 different ranks that are almost at a canasta. And on my opponent's side, Oops, that's a different deck. On my opponent's side, they have quite a few almost canastas as well. So they've got kings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've got jacks to 6, nines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They just finished a 6s canasta. Okay? And when you finish a canasta, you book it up, if you recall. And because there were no wilds, you put a red on top. And then you crisscross the canasta on top of the 3s. And then they discarded a 6. So now it's my turn. And I am going to be taking that turn card. When you pick the turn card, you must say turn card. You don't have to show people what you got, but you have to say turn card. You must announce it. So now it's time for us to finish canastas. They've already got one, and we definitely do not want to not have at least one canasta. So all these 3s that we have been collecting on the side change their value based on what we have at the end of the hand. If at the end of the hand we have no canastas, all of our 3s are a subtraction, and the subtraction is 100, 300, 500, or 1,000 points, depending on the combination of 3s. If we have one canasta, like my opposition does, their 3s have been neutralized. It's not a plus, it's not a minus. You need to have 2 or more canastas in order for your 3s to become a bonus. So now, since we're so far down and my partner hasn't been finishing any of the canastas, I'm going to use some of my wilds, because once the turn card is pulled, you're only going to get 2 more turns before the hand is out. So I am going to close the 4s. I'm going to use one of my wilds, and I'm going to close the 4s canasta. And because it contains a wild, I'm going to put a black 4, either a spade or a club on top, to let people know that it's got a wild. And I'm going to crisscross it over my 3s. I am also going to close the 5s canasta. And again, it's got a wild, so I'm going to put a black on top. And I'm going to crisscross it. You want to be able to see all of the closed canastas at all times, because remember, when there's an empty tray, you're not allowed to put an ace, you're not allowed to put a 7, you're not allowed to put a wild, and you're not allowed to put any card from a closed canasta. Okay, so I have one more wild, and I'm going to use it to close the queens. So here we go. And now, because we have 2 or more canastas, our 3s are a bonus for us. Okay, and now I'm going to discard, and I'm going to discard the ace. My opponent has a choice now. They do have a pair of aces. Aces are special, just like 7s, and we'll talk in depth about the aces and 7s and other special canastas in the special canasta. But if they choose to take that ace and they meld it down here and they don't add a wild card, then they have committed their partnership to completing natural aces. And if you don't finish a natural aces, it's a 2,500 point hit. If you finish a natural aces, it's a 2,500 point bonus. Now, they might have to decide, do they think there are a lot of 7s in there? Because remember, 7s are also the special canastas that we want to be careful about starting. Let's say this person is going to take the chance. They're going to take the ace in their wild and the top ace and put it here. And then they're going to pick up the pile and see what else is in it. Oh, they got another ace. That's nice. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aces. Not so bad. I will tell you, aces are special. And watch the 7s and aces video when it goes up. But there are some table rules where you're not allowed to start aces with a wild except during your initial meld. And that's a table rule you really want to talk about with people before you start to play. Okay, now we're going to meld as much as we can because probably we won't get another turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to finish the kings. And this kings has no wild, so a red goes on top. This partnership now has 2 canastas, as you can see right there. So now their 3s are also a bonus. I'm going to finish my Jack's canasta. The Jack's canasta is also a natural canasta, so I'm going to put a red on top. And then I have to discard because there isn't anything else I can do. So I'm going to, empty tray rules. No aces, no 7s, no wilds, and no cards from a closed canasta. The closed canastas are 6, king, jack, queen, 5, and 4. Well, I'm kind of in trouble. All I've got are 7, 6, 5s, and 4s. I'm going to have to take back that last jack that I used because I have to discard it. I'm not allowed to discard anything else in my hand because it's an empty tray. Empty tray rules, no cards from a closed canasta. 6s are closed, 5s are closed, 4s are closed, and you're never allowed to throw away a 7, so I throw away the jack. This person does not have a pair of jacks. All right, next turn, I picked up a 9. I'm going to put all 5 of these out. My partner is, it's their turn. Because we want to get the points out of our hand. Any cards that are left in our hand when the hand ends are subtracted against our score. And I have 3 9s, and I have 2 wilds, so I can put the 2 wilds with the 9s because my wilds are not outnumbering my naturals. And I get the points out of my hand. I can't use my wilds here on the 10 to finish the 10 canasta because I've already got 2 wilds on there. So now I need to discard something, and I'm going to discard the jack because I know, I'm going to discard the king because it's a dead card. Dead cards are cards that are closed canastas. Okay, so this person can put down the ace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's close the ace. 7. Book it up. It's not a natural because it contains wild, so I put the black on top. And I'm going to take the 2, and I'm going to finish the jacks. There's a wild in it, so I put a black on top. Kind of separate these so they don't get confused between the partnerships. And now they need to discard. All they have is a pair of 7s, so they're going to take that 7 and discard it. I do have a pair of 7s. I could pick up the pile, but I'm not going to because I don't know where 6 7s are, or I don't know that my partnership controls 6 7s. And remember, if you start 7s and you don't finish it, it's a 2,500 point hit. So I'm just going to not mess around with that and take a turn. And look, I lucked out. I picked a 10. Closing my partnership 10. It contains wilds. It gets a black one on top. And I crisscross it. And now I'm going to discard.